I'm getting ready to beat Zelda, man. Zelda's going down. And you can see. Yeah, I was really disappointed in the no temples with Zelda, and they have the four divine beasts. They call them temples.
Point is that
The lightning temple kind of looks like a temple. It like has an old feeling a little bit.
And so that's also at stake right now.
Anyway, I'm at Hyrule Castle. I think it's the end of the game. I'll find out. I'm not sure. In Breath of the Wild, this was the end of the game. And this one, I'm not sure. I just got the camera, and I could go to the depths. There's like I still have like 20 side missions, but I think this is the main mission. I didn't do the hieroglyph one, so I'm not sure what's gonna happen. But I hope I don't have to do the 9 hieroglyphs. I don't know. I think I could just end the game right now, like Breath of the Wild. We'll see. Oh, I can also go get the Lost Woods. I haven't been to the Lost Woods either.
We have seen abortion criminalized in over a dozen states. At least 6 additional states have their strict bans tied up in the courts. Over 20 million women of reproductive age live in places where abortion is banned or mostly banned. Republicans are showing no signs of letting up. In North Carolina, Republicans managed to get a Democrat who strongly supported abortion rights to switch parties so the legislature could obtain a supermajority and overrode
that vampire tie is pretty good for prime wellness.
In Florida, Republicans banned all abortions at 6 weeks before many women and pregnant people know they are even pregnant. Florida Republicans did this even after
Vampire Killer 18, yeah, this is pretty good.
Non-viable fetuses. A husband of one
woman
calling it quote, pure torture. Activists are pushing to ban the decades-old abortion pill mifepristone after they found a sympathetic judge in Texas who ruling
good, if I must
was
say.
luckily enjoined by the Supreme Court. In Wyoming, Republicans there passed a law to ban the abortion bill, which a judge has temporarily blocked. Now Republicans are, as you saw above, talking about federal bans. Mike Pence is promising one if he's elected president. Elise Stefanik, the House Republican Conference Chair, also promising one. Republicans are not going to be satisfied until abortion is outlawed everywhere in this country. And the only thing truly stopping is the fact that outlawing abortion is one of the most toxically unpopular positions in the entire country. We've got new polling out from NBC News that shows 61% of voters disapprove of the Supreme Court's decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. Just 36% approve. We've seen this outpouring of support of reproductive rights come out in force in the midterms. We've seen it in races at the state level. We've seen it in states that have had abortion ballot initiative, even in states that are quite conservative. And all this sets up the most abortion-centered presidential election arguably in history in 2024. President Biden, who has not been someone who's the most vociferous advocate of abortion rights, is gearing up for a campaign where that will be front and center. And that's ahead.
A mystery.
Jesse loves playing detective.
But the real mystery was your irritated skin. So we switched to Tide Pods Free and Gentle. It cleans better and doesn't leave behind irritating residues.
And it's gentle on her
Breath
skin.
of the Wild, the boss.
It's gotta be Tide.
This game, I don't know. I've never been this far.
We're everything your small business needs to make it everything it should be. The one-stop secret weapon to make a lot of noise and be unstoppable store. The UPS store.
When I was diagnosed with HIV, I didn't know who I would be.
But here I am, being me.
Keep being you and ask your healthcare provider about the #1 prescribed HIV treatment, Biktarvy.
Biktarvy is a complete one-pill, once-a-day treatment used for HIV in many people, whether you're 18 or 80.
That it?
With one small pill, Biktarvy fights HIV to help you get to undetectable and stay there, whether you're just starting or replacing your current treatment. Research shows that taking HIV treatment as prescribed and getting to and staying undetectable prevents transmitting HIV through sex. Serious side effects can occur, including kidney problems and kidney failure. Rare, life-threatening side effects include a buildup of lactic acid and liver problems. Do not take Biktarvy if you take tofetalide or rifampin. Tell your healthcare provider about all the medicines and supplements you take. If you are pregnant or breastfeeding, or if you have kidney or liver problems, including hepatitis. If you have hepatitis B, do not stop taking Biktarvy without talking to your healthcare provider. Common side effects are diarrhea, nausea, and headache.
No matter where life takes you, Biktarvy can go with you. Talk to your healthcare provider today.
An ascension point.
Voltaren, the joy of movement.
thing came first, the chicken or the baby back
In
ribs?
the bell.
Baby back ribs.
Chicken tenders all the way.
Baby back ribs.
Chicken tenders.
Baby back ribs. Baby. Ribs. Baby back.
Chicken tenders.
On second thought, it really depends which side of the buffet you start on.
Which
Moving
way is
this
through
summer?
the bell?
Join the 6 million families who discovered a smarter, more flexible way to move with Pods. Save up to 30% off until July 10th. Whether you're moving across town or across the country, save up to 30% at pods.com today.
We know patients are more than their disease. That's why at Novo Nordisk, we've spent 100 years developing treatments to help unlock humanity's full potential. These are the greats. People living with, thriving with, not held back by disease. They motivate us to fight diabetes and obesity, rare diseases, and cardiovascular conditions for generations to come, so everyone can meet their moment, because your disease doesn't define you. So what will? Novo Nordisk, driving change.
What if I told you that you could get a custom designed space to meet your needs with the same quality Fortune 500 companies expect at a price you can afford? If you need space, you need the General.
The biggest manufacturers in the Midwest, tech companies in Silicon Valley, and fulfillment centers along the East Coast call General Steel to custom design their buildings.
50 by 100 and 16 foot tall with red trim for your project? You got it.
30 by 40 with a 12-foot door?
This would be perfect to fit your truck, ATVs, camper, and workshop.
Congrats on the growth of your business. No, that's not too big for General Steel. 150 by 300 with no columns? No problem. Glad you called before the price of steel goes up. We'll be able to keep this within your budget.
Auto manufacturing is back in full swing and steel demand is rising. Prices are soon to follow. So now is the time to buy. Waiting could cost you thousands. Call General Steel at 1-877-25-STEEL to get your custom designed building system today.
And the Dobbs decision, the court practically dared the women of America to be heard. This was majority rule. Women are not without electoral or political power. You ain't seen nothing yet, court.
Guys, swing on it? It looks like it's a
Today, President Biden marked the one-year anniversary of the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade by promising to fight to protect women's right to bodily autonomy. That included signing an executive order expanding access to contraception. After seeing how much this issue drove voters to the polls in the midterms, Democrats now
like I could swing it.
galvanize that energy again by making abortion a centerpiece of the 2024 presidential election. And right now, the numbers are in their favor. A new NBC News poll showing that nearly 2/3 of Americans disapprove of the court's overturning Roe, a slight increase even from August, and over half strongly disapprove, compared to just over a quarter who strongly approve. Corinne Carmon's a senior correspondent for New York Magazine who has covered reproductive rights for years, including a fantastic profile today of a doctor in Alabama who provided most of the abortions in that state until they were banned. And Corinne Carmon joins me now. Great to have you here. We're going to get to the politics, but since I just talked about your great piece today, which I read, tell us about who this woman is and what it means for her and for the women of Alabama to have it essentially banned in Alabama.
On that day a year ago, when Roe was overturned, they separated the patients into two rooms, the ones whose procedures already started and the ones who were forced to stay pregnant. If you are forced to stay pregnant in Alabama, you are 3 times more likely to die than the nationwide rate, which is already high and climbing.
Wow.
If you are black, you are twice as likely to die than your white neighbor in Alabama. And this is the environment in which an abortion provider has to decide, do I stay or do I go? Do I open up a clinic in one of these states like New Mexico and Illinois where many abortion providers move their operations? Or do I stay? And Dr. Yashika Robinson, who I profiled for New York Magazine this week, decided to stay and keep doing what she'd been doing all along with her abortion practice, which is that she was taking care of pregnant patients. She was delivering their babies. One day she'd be providing abortions. The next day she'd be delivering a baby. It sounds like it should be normal. It should be this full spectrum care that every person should get. But in states like Alabama and really nationwide, abortion was separated out. And so she decided to stick around, stay in the community that she is from, that she has lived in for a long time in the South. And even though the resources like Medicaid are so paltry for the patients that she serves, and even though they're getting sicker and sicker, she's still out there fighting.
It's a great piece. People should read it, and also just maybe think of all the folks that do now have to travel and go out of state. And again, I think covering this is like it's like the tip of the iceberg situation. every once in a while, every day or so, Jess Valenti's got this great Substack where she's been covering this day in, day out, abortion every day. Like, there's some story somewhere in the nation of some horrific story of a woman forced to carry her pregnancy to term against her will that ends in some medical emergency. But that's just a tiny fraction of the full story. And that full story, which is underneath the iceberg, is what's driving the rage and the politics of this.
Chris, how many of these stories have we not heard yet?
I mean,
because
vast majority.
Right, because people are afraid, or because they are still locked into abusive situations, or because they are in the process of being investigated by a cop. There's a lot of this that is the tip of the iceberg, just of what we've heard, and the odds are is that somebody knows someone who went through a situation, whether it's just a simple unwanted pregnancy that they don't want to stay pregnant, or somebody who was forced to, the Oklahoma case where somebody had to sit in a parking lot and wait to bleed out. Dr. Robinson told me about cases in which a patient became septic and ended up in the ICU because nobody was willing to do a simple abortion procedure for her non-viable fetus that she was in the process of miscarrying. You're right, this is behind the salience of it politically. It is hard in this day and age with so much chaos in the news cycle to keep people's attention. But every single day, you could have 5, 10, 20 of these stories. We know there are 25,000 abortions that occurred before Dobbs that have not been recorded in the months since Dobbs. And that includes people leaving and going to blue states. Now, it may be that some folks are taking matters into their own hands, but how many of those people are now conscripted by the state to carry pregnancies to term in situations that they did not choose, in situations of misery and difficulty? That's a question that we're still answering.
Yeah, that point about how, I expected enormous political rage. We had a heads up because the decision leaked. You were actually on our air that night, and we actually had booked you to talk about abortion, and then it leaked. But this is a quote today. The Political Magazine did a good piece about sort of a year post-America, and this is a law professor at Delaware Law School, who said, "I underestimated the depth of the outrage it would create. The results of the federal midterm elections were a ringing repudiation of the court's activism, underscored that for majority voters, there was no going back to the day when women lacked legal agency over their bodies. We see it in the polling that we have about when you look at strongly disapprove and strongly approve, 53 to 27. The energy was in the Roe era on the side, in many cases, politically, of those trying to get rid of it. And that energy has shifted because the status quo has shifted, and it also is not temporary.
So I think you have to think about it in the context of even Republicans did not think they would get everything that they wanted so quickly. You talked about the groundwork laid by Donald Trump with these 3 justices. They reached out and they were given a 15-week ban to uphold, and they went for everything. So in some ways, it's that the politics were not, the groundwork wasn't even laid for the Republican Party to figure out how to defend it. You show these Republicans exulting in what happens. How are they feeling about the cases that we're talking about? They don't even know how to answer. They know about them. They haven't done a thing to protect the people who are trapped in these situations. They're clapping their hands over their ears, or they're asking for more.
We've played, Tim Scott was one notorious example. It is almost like Looney Tunes, like habada, 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 when you ask them these questions. Like, should a woman with a non-viable fetus be forced to sit in a parking lot waiting to bleed out?
Right.
Is that good? Is that what you want? Should an 11-year-old, the victim, a survivor of rape, be forced to carry? Answer that question. That's the law you created, and they cannot answer the question.
Not only can they not answer the question, we've known about these cases for a year, and they haven't done anything to make it easier for them except to say, and they haven't done anything except to say that this is the pro-choice side trying to make them look bad. This is doctors who are intentionally endangering their patients, as if anybody would do such a thing. So, I think because of the strange political and legal history, they got everything they wanted really quickly. And I think that had they been allowed to pursue this incremental strategy, it would have been difficult for a lot of people, but it would not have been this dramatic of an outcome. We would not have seen, for example, a majority of OBGYNs telling the Kaiser Family Foundation that the care for pregnant patients has gotten worse across the board, that racial disparities have gotten worse. This happened so quickly and so drastically
Where the
that it
dot
was an
says to
opportunity to see
go.
that everything that everyone had been warning about what's going to happen.
And people hate it, and that's the only silver lining here to me. And there are ways to sort of transfer that into law.
It's like meat me.
That is all in for the week.
I think you got your woman it's like a bunch of gnarly dudes.
Good evening, Allie, the artist working man of the biz.
Nice to see you, my friend. You have yourself a good weekend. I'll be following very shortly. Thanks to you at home for joining us this hour. We've got two massive pieces of news in Special Counsel Jack Smith's investigation into the former President Trump's efforts to overturn the 2020 election. One of these is just broken, and it's about this guy. Who's not exactly a household name. This is Mike Roman. He was the director of Election Day operations for Trump's 2020 campaign. You might know him as the guy who on January 6th tried to physically deliver certificates of the fake electors from Trump's fake elector scheme to Vice President Mike Pence. And that act, being the bag man trying to deliver the fake electors on January 6th to stop the certification of the 2020 election, that is actually a pretty good encapsulation of his larger role in all of this.
I only got one electric on.
After the election, there wasn't all that much to do for Trump's director of Election Day operations, so Mike Roman shifted to a new gig. He acted as the go-between, the vote whipper of sorts, doing the legwork to get state-level officials on board with Trump's fake elector plan. Now, he wasn't the legal mastermind behind the plan. He wasn't the brains of the operation. He was the legs of the operation. Yesterday, Mr. Roman's deputy in that position, this guy, was spotted meeting with Special Counsel Jack Smith's grand jury. Tonight, the New York Times is out with a massive scoop that Mike Roman himself is in talks to cooperate with Jack Smith's investigation. A person familiar with the matter tells the New York Times tonight that Mr. Roman is negotiating a proffer agreement. That's a trade of what is likely some level of legal immunity for testimony. And that is huge, gigantic news all on its own. But it really starts to paint a picture when you combine it with the other major piece of news that broke about this investigation tonight. And that second story is about these guys. Not to be rude, but these guys are not exactly household names either. This is the chairman of the Republican Party of Nevada, Michael McDonald, and the Nevada Republican Party official Jim DeGraffenreid. These were two of Donald Trump's fake electors in Nevada. Now, we already knew that last week these two guys had been spotted going into testify before Jack Smith's grand jury. But tonight, CNN reports Jack Smith gave both of these guys limited immunity in exchange for their testimony. NBC has not independently confirmed that reporting. Now, I know what you're thinking. What could the special counsel possibly get from these guys that we haven't gotten? Years of public reporting and from the extensive January 6th investigation conducted by the House of Representatives. And I'm so glad you asked. The House committee, the January 6th committee, interviewed both of these Nevada fake electors.
It's a fake.
On February 24th.
It already showed her
from the schedule,
disappeared.
it looks like one was interviewed before lunch, the other one was after lunch, back to back, lunch in between. The committee got nothing from these guys. DeGraff pleaded the fifth more than 190 times. McDonald pleaded the fifth more than 270 times. I'm going to read you a little of this. Question. What did you mean when you said that President Trump, Mark Meadows, and Mr. Giuliani, quote, want full attack mode? McDonald. Based on the advice of my attorney, I'll be invoking my Fifth Amendment privilege. Question. With respect to the words extremely problematic, did you understand that to mean that it would be unlawful or problematic for some other reason? DeGraffenreid. Under advice of counsel, I assert the prior privilege, end quote, meaning he pleaded the fifth. Their sworn testimonies before the House January 6th committee went on and on like that for hours. Roman testified to the committee in August. He pleaded the fifth more than 130 times. Now remember, this guy was Trump's director of Election Day operations. So make sure you understand that. Director of Election Day operations. So check out how he answered this question. Quote, where were you, Mr. Roman, on Election Day? Roman, the fifth. He pleaded the fifth
Where's she at?
The election can be maddening because so much of it happened out there in the open. But drawing the connective tissue between everything that happened after the 2020 election, Trump himself in a way that is provable and prosecutable in a court of law is actually a tall order. By offering these guys at the center of the fake elector plot limited immunity in exchange for their testimony, it seems like Jack Smith is trying to connect the dots. And believe it or not, we're not done.
Is locating her in the
We've got a couple of major developments out of Jack Smith's other case tonight. You know, the other one, the indictment of Donald Trump and his aide, Walton Nauta, over their handling of classified documents at Trump's beach club, Mar-a-Lago. The judge in that case, the Trump appointee, Aileen Cannon, had set a trial date
70.
for mid-August, a date every legal expert has expected to slide. Tonight, in a brand new filing from special counsel Jack Smith, the prosecution is requesting a later date, December 11th, and setting forth a new schedule for pretrial hearings. In the filing, prosecutors say, quote, defense counsel confirmed they do not oppose an adjournment of the current trial date and request a status hearing with the court to address the schedule in this action. Defense counsel anticipate filing an opposition to this motion, addressing their objections to the government's proposed dates, end quote. In a separate filing, the prosecution, the government, reveals that it has turned over a list of witnesses to the defense who they argue should not be allowed to speak to Trump except through counsel. And in a footnote, the prosecution apparently hints at how many witnesses that could be. It says the defense, quote, have authorized government counsel to represent the following. The defense reserves the right to object to the special condition about witnesses and the manner in which it was implemented by the government by providing a list of 84 witnesses in purported compliance with this court's order, end quote. 84 witnesses.
15.
Joining us now, Lisa Rubin, former litigator and MSNBC legal analyst, and Harry Litman, former United States attorney and senior legal affairs columnist for the LA Times. Thank you both for being here. It's great to see you both. Harry, it's always good to see you. Lisa, you and I spend a lot of our days together these days with you explaining these things to me. Harry, let's just start with the limited immunity that the two guys in Nevada got, the discussion that Mike Roman is having. Obviously, the idea of giving these guys some immunity from prosecution on the basis of their own testimony is because we care less about these guys if there is some effort to get to the center of the operation, the brains of the operation, the big fish, or Donald Trump himself.
It's true we care less about them, but no prosecutor wants to give out immunity like M&M's.
32.
These guys, and one of them in particular, McDonald, purportedly discussed things directly with the president, and at a minimum, where you saw him taking the fifth, was he is in communication potentially with Giuliani, Jenna Ellis, a real inner circle. So this represents the move from pretty patently provable charges against the state electors themselves to potentially the inner circle, and that's what you were talking about up front with Rowan and Brown. And one quick point on that, it's textbook prosecutorial move. Rowan's the deputy. Brown is.
31,
25,
25.
Thursday. I think he got immunity.
See, now we're no longer dealing with avocados.
I better come in. Rowan, is like, go, I better come in now because he's going to inculpate me. And what he's coming in to do is proper. That is to tell the government, here's what I'll say if you let me. And the government, based on that, could give him immunity as well. So there's a real leverage up the line and into the Washington, D.C. part of the false electors plan.
So, Lisa, the Mike Roman part of this is interesting because one wonders what Jack Smith needs to do or anybody else needs to do, given, as we say, that we've reported this out. It's been before the January 2nd committee, and today was the perfect example. Mike Roman pleaded the fifth about where he was on Election Day, right? At this point, that means Congress was limited in what it could get out of these people in a way that Jack Smith and a grand jury is not limited, because if you lie to a grand jury, you're in trouble. But is there an equivalent? Can these guys just do the same thing, plead the fifth to the grand jury, or is that the point of these negotiations?
The whole point of these negotiations is so that they don't do that and that they can provide information that's helpful to the investigation. When Mike Roman was before the January 6th committee, not only did he refuse to answer where he was on election day, but he refused to answer some much more central questions, including whether or not he ever spoke to President Trump directly about the fake electors scheme. My guess is those are the sorts of questions that are of central importance to Jack Smith and his investigators when they are looking increasingly at this fake electors scheme and the involvement of central Trump world figures therein, including and up to former President Trump.
Harry, let's look at the Mar-a-Lago criminal case. Is there anything that catches your eye in these filings? That number of 84 witnesses. I mean, obviously for me that's interesting, but what caught your eye about the delay in the trial and the back and forth that we were reading a bit about?
Right, the 84 is just another reminder. We see little rocks, but they're mountains that Smith has of evidence. But it looks like a delay. I think it's actually an attempt to hold the line. The main thing that Trump can use to delay is this classified information rigmarole. And what Smith is clearly saying and setting a status conference to have is he can do it all, everything that needs to be done, and we can still go to trial December. That could move January, February, March really well in advance of the worrisome date, say end of the summer or even worse. So this is actually the government drawing a realistic line, saying we can do it by then, and in particular saying let's get on top of this classified stuff now, because that is the one. Everything else has to come anyway, and fairly soon. That is the one motion they can bring they could really try to leverage to eat up months and months of time.
At least, of course, this is what you do. You go through these documents and you figure out the stuff that
with
looks like legalese to me, but that's really important. What caught your eye?
I was focused on the other guy.
That caught my eye, Allie, is there's a declaration from Jay Bratt, who is an official at the Department of Justice and National Security Division, now detailed to the special counsel.
See, Metalhead, even like this is thing, even if my stream is slow, I'm doing what I want anyway. You know what I mean?
Applied for
But
interim security clearances here. That's a translation. He's
I'm
basically
happy
saying
that,
if there's a delay here, it's not on us, it's on them.
the
We've
people
told
that
them
stop
we'll turn
by
around interim
stop by,
security clearances
so
for them so they can have classified stuff within 24 to 48 hours. We haven't even received all their applications yet. And that's a
street, you know.
clear signal to the judge. If this thing is going to drag on, it won't be on the Department of It's just says, watch, we're going to do everything and anything we can in order to try this case fairly and with enough procedure for Donald Trump and his lawyers, but at the same time, we're not going to drag our feet to prevent him from having a speedy trial as the law
People on
intends him
Meet
to.
Me,
Harry, I want to talk to you about the location of this trial. Fort Pierce, Florida. There were 4 federal court options in the Southern District of Florida. This is Eileen Cannon's home court. I don't know what these things mean. Is it important that it's in her own court? It happens to be the Trumpiest of all the court regions, which will pull a jury. But what does that mean to you?
It means exactly what it means. Exactly that. It maximizes the chances of some. I don't think anyone sees a real chance of an acquittal for him, but it maximizes the chance of a hung jury, somebody being a holdout, which he would certainly spin as a victory. And of course, it goes with Judge Cannon herself, who it's pretty clear now is not going to heed the calls to recuse as she might have under the law. So we're in there for the duration.
Thanks to both of you. We appreciate your analysis. Harry Littman and Lisa Rubin.
So
We appreciate you making the time tonight. All right, still ahead tonight, we're going to take a look at the horrific realities
and I'll come in with this.
Many across this country have had to endure in the years since the Supreme Court overturned Roe versus Wade, upending decades of abortion rights for millions of those who are of childbearing age. What could mean for millions more in the years to come? But next, we've been keeping an eye on reports out of Russia of a standoff between the leader of Russia's top paramilitary mercenary group and leaders of the Russian government as Russia's war in Ukraine enters uncharted territory. I'll be joined by NBC News chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel about what's happening right now in Russia overnight. Stay with us.
I thought I'd slipped out the fire.
This is Sadie. She's on Verizon, the network she can count on. And now she's got my plan, a game-changing new plan that lets her pick exactly what she wants and save on every perk. Sadie's getting her plan ready for a big trip. Travel pass on.
Wait,
Nice iPhone. Cute couple. Trips don't last forever. Neither does summer love. So, Sadie's moving on. Apple Music? Check. Introducing my plan. The first and only unlimited plan to give you exactly what you want, so you only pay for what you need. Act now and get iPhone 14 Pro Max on us when you switch. It's your Verizon.
My asthma felt anything but normal.
Hey, Captain.
It was time for a new normal with
Hi,
Nucala.
Captain.
Nucala is a once-monthly add-on treatment
No.
for severe eosinophilic asthma that can mean less oral steroids, not for sudden breathing problems. Allergic reactions can occur. Get help right away. If you're swelling of face, mouth, tongue, or trouble breathing, infections that can cause shingles have occurred. Don't stop steroids unless told by your doctor. Tell your doctor if you have a parasitic infection. May cause headache, injection site reactions, back pain, and fatigue.
Ask your asthma specialist about a new normal with Nucala.
My A1C was up here. Now it's down with Rebelsis.
His A1C?
It's down with Rebelsis.
My doctor told me Rebelsis lowered A1C better than leading
And then people taking Rebelsis lost more weight. I got to my A1C goal, lost some weight too.
Rebelsis isn't for people with type 1 diabetes. Don't take Rebelsis if you or your family ever had medullary thyroid cancer or had multiple endocrine neoplasia syndrome type 2, or if allergic to it. Stop Rebelsis and get medical help right away. Get a lump or swelling in your neck, severe stomach pain, or an allergic reaction. Serious side effects may include pancreas. Yes, gallbladder problems may occur. Tell your provider about vision problems or changes. Taking Rebelsis with a sublingual urea or insulin increases low blood sugar. Side effects like nausea, vomiting, and diarrhea may lead to dehydration, which may worsen kidney problems.
Need to get your A1C down?
You may pay as little as $10 per prescription.
Purple mattresses exclusive with Gel Flex Grid draws away.
I was greedy. I didn't want to use my
Sleep
pot.
better, live purple.
I
Save up to
didn't really come
$800
here
off
very
mattress sets during
prepared. I
Purple's
don't have
July
a
4th
lot
sale.
of,
Visit purple.com or a store near you.
I don't have a lot of resources. Even though I did get some bass I could cook, but I only have one portable pot.
You were made to act spontaneously. We were made to help plan accordingly.
Realtor.com will help you find whatever you're looking for.
The filters let me find very specifically what I needed.
How many bedrooms and how many bathrooms?
Price filters that keep me in budget.
And with the map draw tool, I can draw around wherever I want to live. Go to Realtor.com right now.
What if I told you that you could get a custom designed space to meet your needs with the same quality Fortune 500 companies expect at a price you can afford? If you need space, you need the General.
The biggest manufacturers in the Midwest, tech companies in Silicon Valley, and fulfillment centers along the East Coast call General Steel to custom design their buildings.
50 by 116 foot tall with red trim for your project? You got it.
30 by 40 with a 12-foot door? This would be perfect to fit your truck, ATVs, camper, and workshop.
Congrats on the growth of your business. No, that's not too big for General Steel. 150 by 300 with no columns? No problem. Glad you called before the price of steel goes up. We'll be able to keep this within your budget.
Auto manufacturing is back in full swing and steel demand is rising. Prices are soon to follow, so now is the time to buy. Waiting could cost you thousands. Call General Steel at 1-877-25-STEEL to get your custom designed building system today.
Despite decades of gains, the need to defend LGBTQ rights has reached surprising new levels. Generals and K-Pod examines the community's enduring push for progress, defending pride, Sunday at 10 on MSNBC.
Happy to have you here. Happy Monday. Lots of news of all kinds going on right now. There's still more to find out. There's still more to get to the bottom of. Finally, we've started to get answers. Watch this space.
Major breaking news out of Russia at this hour. The volatile chief of the Wagner paramilitary group, this guy, Yevgeny Prigozhin, once a Putin ally, claims that he has left Ukraine at the head of a column of troops and crossed into Russia in some sort of a challenge to the Russian defense minister, with whom he's been waging a war of words since the outset of the Russian invasion of Ukraine last year. Prigozhin, who was hired by Russian President Vladimir Putin last year to mobilize Wagner mercenaries to Ukraine, posted a message on social media this afternoon accusing Russia's Minister of Defense, Sergei Shoigu, of pushing Putin to invade Ukraine under, quote, false pretenses. He also accused the Russian military of providing Putin with inaccurate information about the status of the war and claimed that Russia is, in fact, losing ground on the battlefield. Not long after posting that message at around 9 p.m. local time, Prigozhin posted another message blaming the Russian military for carrying out an alleged attack against his troops, killing, quote, a huge amount of his own forces in Ukraine. Now, this is something that Russia has since denied. Prigozhin vowed to retaliate, which prompted Russian officials to open a criminal case against him. Okay, so just understand this for a second. This means that the head of the most effective part of Russia's ground war in Ukraine, without whom Russia would not have been where they are today, could now soon be under arrest in his own country, which is where he claims to be right now. It's hard to make sense of this. Russian military officials have taken to national television to accuse Prigozhin of trying to stage a coup. Now, whether or not his threat has any teeth, we just don't know. But the information we're receiving from reporters inside Russia is that the country and the military are right now at this hour on high alert. Videos circulating widely on social media and shared by the Moscow Times showed armored vehicles being deployed in Moscow and near the front line in Ukraine, where Prigozhin's fighters are gathered. Meduza, an investigative outlet critical of Putin, is also reporting that Russia's domestic intelligence service is asking Wagner fighters not to obey Prigozhin's criminal and treacherous orders and to take steps to detain him. Other Russian generals, like the one seen here seated next to a rifle, are appealing to fighters to ignore the calls for rebellion. Prigozhin attempted to clarify today, by the way, that he's not attempting a coup, but government officials in Ukraine are saying that a column of Wagner soldiers have now passed checkpoints in the direction of Moscow, and a new audio posted by Prigozhin says his fighters are now inside Russia.
The fuck? What?
There's a lot here. We have not confirmed any of this information independently. We've just gathered it for you now.
What the hell?
And we'll let you know what we do and when we can confirm it. But the impact and the fear that this is generating not just inside Russia but around the world is palpable. Russian stocks are now down more than 3% in after-hours trading. And the banners running at the bottom of the 24-hour Russian state television channels say that the statements and the actions of Prigozhin amount to a call for an armed civil conflict. It is too early to predict how or if this is going to have an impact on the war in Ukraine. But for months now, Prigozhin's mercenary forces, Wagner Group, have played a key role in this battle, taking control at times of the Ukrainian city of Bakhmut in the east, where the longest and bloodiest battle of the war has taken place. Joining us now is NBC News chief foreign correspondent Richard Engel. Richard, thank you for joining us. I know you're in Taipei right now, but I need to talk to you about this because you understand all of this. The war, Sergei Prigozhin, and the Wagner Group's role in this whole thing. What, in your estimation, is happening right now?
So this is a long brewing conflict, and as you said, the details of what's exactly happening right at this moment are a little bit unclear. But if you listen to multiple sources coming out of the Russian officials, out of Russian media, these direct appeals by Russian generals, it appears that this internal strife that has been brewing for a long time is now spilling over into a potential armed conflict. So First of all, a little bit, who is Yevgeny Prigozhin? Yevgeny Prigozhin is a Kremlin insider. He's very close to Vladimir Putin, or at least was very close to Vladimir Putin. He was sometimes described as Putin's chef. It's not clear that he actually ever cooked for Putin. He was more of a caterer, but he goes back to the inner circle days when Putin was rising to power in St. Petersburg. But he has moved well beyond the catering business. Since at least 2014, he has established this Wagner group. He established a private mercenary army. And the reason he was able to establish this, according to members of Wagner that I've spoken to, former members, I've traveled to several different countries where Wagner has operations, including in the Central African Republic. Spent quite a bit of time focusing on this subject. So in 2014, roughly, Wagner began to have an armed force initially in Ukraine because there was a need. There was a need because the Kremlin, Vladimir Putin, wanted to keep fighting in that country. This was just around the time and just after the time of the takeover of Crimea. But he wanted to do it in a way that was off the books, in a way that you could use expendable fighters that didn't really impact the population. So Wagner, Yevgeny Prigozhin, raised his hand, said, I have an army, I can create an army, I can use former veterans, I can use criminals, I can use people that the Russian population won't really miss if they die on the battlefield, and I can provide this auxiliary force to Russia.
Nice guy, Cooper.
It was accepted. Prigozhin formed Wagner Group all the way back in 2014. It was small, it was secretive.
Wow, beautiful.
Then
Thanks
it
for
started
coming
to
in.
grow. When Vladimir Putin decided to back up Bashar al-Assad in Syria, another military intervention that Putin wanted to have off the books, a military campaign that didn't require troop call-ups, that wouldn't impact the Russian population in an emotional or physical way. Prigozhin stepped in. Since then, his operations have continued to grow. He expanded into Africa, which is a way for the operation to raise money. They extract a lot of gold illegally, a lot of blood diamonds from places like the Central African Republic. We had a story on that a few weeks ago. Once they started fighting on multiple fronts and were able to generate their own revenue stream, Prigozhin established his own power base. He became a force to reckon with inside Russia. And then with this latest war in Ukraine that began about a year and a half ago, Prigozhin entered in a major way. Wagner expanded exponentially. It went from a small, secretive force operating in little-known conflicts that the Russian people weren't talking about to the main war effort, which is the war in Ukraine. And once his fighters started to engage in combat, in some cases performed better than the regular army, then a rivalry began. A rivalry that its time has been extremely tense because Prigozhin had,
in case this is a cutscene, I want to
for months now
been
accusing the defense establishment, particularly the defense ministry, of undermining his
baby say, hey, what's up?
And he is accused the defense minister.
Oh wow, beautiful woman. Thanks for visiting the stream. Tapkin,
Treating him like a rival, treating him like an enemy, of not giving his forces the ammunition that they need. Prigozhin at times has stood in front of the bodies of his men who died in the city of Bakhmut and said, these men died because the Russian military establishment isn't giving them what they need, is treating them like an enemy. What we saw
apparently, over the last 24 hours, was a whole new level of escalation. What Prigozhin is saying is that Russian forces deliberately attacked a group of Wagner fighters who were
No, I loaded that, but it's
camped
like
in the forest and killed a
still
large
didn't
number
really
of them.
hit.
Again, no clear verification, but what does seem clear is that these tensions have escalated to an entirely different level, a new category. And then what
So how to do
Prigozhin
this
allegedly
flower.
said in these audio recordings that are difficult to verify was that he is now so furious, so livid, that he is taking his men, he's taking tens of thousands of them, and he is going to rectify the situation himself by marching toward Moscow, marching toward the city of Rostov. He says it's not a coup, but that he wants to make sure that the people responsible for now consistently denying ammunition and support to his men and then killing his men. The FSB, the Russian intelligence service, says that this is a coup. Numerous generals have called on his men directly not to obey these orders. But if this is playing out the way it seems that it plays out, it appears that these long brewing tensions are now turning into something of an insurrection. Now, among journalists, frankly, we've been watching this tension, as U.S. military officials have been watching, and waiting for a moment like this, waiting for a moment when this verbal tension, these accusations that Prigozhin has been leveling at the Kremlin, particularly at the defense minister, would boil over into something like direct armed conflict or an assassination attempt against Prigozhin, but escalating beyond words.
Richard, if somebody could see the behind the scenes here this evening as this was unfolding and we were playing the game of where is Richard Engel, because we need to talk to him about this. I'm glad we found you, because there is nobody who could provide that level of detail into what is a remarkably confusing situation that's unfolding right now on the ground in Russia. So we're grateful to you, sir. Thank you. Richard Engel is our chief foreign correspondent in Taipei right now. We've got more to come tonight. The shocking death of an Olympic athlete highlights major holes in America's healthcare system, especially when it comes to pregnancy and black women. But Congresswoman Lauren Underwood of Illinois wants to do something about it. We're going to be talking to her coming up. Plus, as Republican presidential hopefuls celebrated their own action to curtail abortion rights in America, the real harm their policies are causing is becoming more and more evident every day. We'll have more on that next.
Three.
I have a surprise for you.
I have a surprise for you.
What? Is it at the same time?
3, 2, 1.
I booked
a
rustic
cabin.
Free cancellation on most days. Booking.com, booking.
Yeah.
Lamita Feed is 101 years old. When COVID hit, we had some challenges. I heard about the payroll tax refund allowed us to keep the people that have been here taking care of us.
Learn more at getrefunds.com.
If we want a more viable future for our kids, we need to find more sustainable ways of doing things. America's plastic makers are investing billions of dollars in new technologies and creating plastic products that are more recyclable, durable, and dependable. Our goal is a cleaner, healthier planet for generations to come. For a better tomorrow, we're focused on making plastics better today.
She was on B1 and I just... I went on.
Oppenheimer in theaters July 21st. Rated R.
Trilogy for COPD.
Birds flying high, you know how I feel. Breeze drifting on by.
If you're tired of staring down your COPD,
It's a new dawn, it's a new day,
stop settling.
and I'm feeling good.
Start a new day with Trilogy. No once daily COPD medicine has the power to treat COPD in as many ways as Trilogy.
With 3 medicines and 1 inhaler, Trelegy makes breathing easier for a full 24 hours, improves lung function, and helps prevent future flare-ups. Trelegy won't replace a rescue inhaler for sudden breathing problems. Tell your doctor if you have a heart condition or high blood pressure before taking it. Do not take Trelegy more than prescribed. Trelegy may increase your risk of thrush, pneumonia, and osteoporosis. Call your doctor if worsened breathing, chest pain, mouth or tongue swelling, problems urinating, vision changes, or eye pain occur. Take a stand and start a new day with Trelegy. Ask your doctor about once daily Trelegy and save at Trelegy.com.
Sleep more deeply and wake up rejuvenated. Purple mattresses exclusive. Gel Flex Grid draws away heat, relieves pressure, and instantly adapts. Sleep better with Purple. Save up to $800 off mattress sets during Purple's July 4th sale. Visit purple.com or a store near you.
It's the ADT Safety Days event. Get up to 30% off your system. Now, ADT systems feature Google Nest products. You can install a system yourself with self-setup, featuring no long-term contracts and free shipping, or have a system installed by our security experts for convenience and peace of mind, so you can keep worries away from your walks, your vacations, and even your staycations. There are more reasons than ever to have a home with no worries. The ADT Safety Days event. Call or shop online today to save up to 30%.
These suits are here to make sure that anything that I say is legally indisputable. Like, we got more spaces in space.
That's entirely incalculable.
Oh, I think that's legalese for true. Apartments.com, the place to find a place.
Here.
Why is everyone talking about Navage and nasal irrigation?
I am one who suffers from chronic sinus infection.
You need to clean that crap out of your nose.
Navage is simple. Your nose is the body's air filter, but it's not perfect. Navage is a drug-free way to help flush out allergens, mucus, and germs using powered suction. Join nearly 3 million Navage users so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and stay healthier.
I love this thing.
It's nice to breathe.
Navage. Clean nose, healthy life.
We need a small business loan fast.
I got this.
There's a better way to get a fast small business loan. Go to ondeck.com, and if approved, get your funds as soon as the same day. Your loan is on deck.
Rich Belvedere coffee. Cafe quality espresso. One high-pressure system that can do both. Brew to your heart's desire with the Love Barista system. A masterpiece in taste.
In July 2022, Christina Zilke and her husband were excited for their first pregnancy. But her doctor soon discovered that she was miscarrying. She agreed to wait for the pregnancy tissue to pass naturally. During a trip to see family in Ohio, she began to experience heavy bleeding. She describes, quote, passing blood clots the size of golf balls. So she went to an emergency room in Painesville, Ohio. Medical staff there performed tests and found no fetal heartbeat, but never offered her an abortion known as a D&C for miscarriages. In fact, they discharged her as she was still filling up diapers of blood. She wrote, "I disagree," on her discharge paperwork. She went home. She passed out from blood loss. Her family called 911. She was called back to the ER after being discharged. She needed an emergency D&C, and that happened because a 2019 trigger law that banned abortion after 6 weeks of pregnancy became law in Ohio hours after the U.S. Supreme Court issued the Dobbs decision last June. That law threatens healthcare providers who provide abortions after 6 weeks with potential prison time. That law is now temporarily blocked, but there are many more like it that are active in other states. Tomorrow is going to mark 1 year exactly since the Supreme Court ended Roe v. Wade, upending 5 decades of abortion rights, and this is what we are left with now. A flood of now daily horror stories that have become the lived realities of millions of people across this country. For 25 million people in this country, the Supreme Court's decision last year caused a seismic shift in healthcare access. 25 million people of childbearing age now live in states where abortion is either totally banned or just a few degrees shy of banned. Just enough to make access that much harder. Just enough to make it so that if and when the time comes when you or a loved one needs an abortion, you really might not be able to get it. Not if your state says no. If you're one of the 25 million people in these states with abortion bans and restrictions, your ability to control and care for your own body, to keep yourself alive, is really in question, and it could get worse. Despite the fact that these abortion bans are deeply unpopular, despite the fact that new polling shows that nearly 80% of women between the ages of 18 to 49 disapprove of the Dobbs decision, including 1/3 of Republican women, despite the fact that over the past year since Dobbs, we have seen people die or nearly die because of abortion restrictions. Setting aside all of the Dobbs decision's very real implications, political, economic, physical, life-altering, life-ending, Republican lawmakers and presidential contenders are doubling down on their anti-abortion rhetoric today. At a Faith and Freedom Coalition event in Washington, D.C. today, 2024 presidential hopefuls voiced support for anti-abortion policies. Governor DeSantis patted himself on the back for quietly signing into law in April the state's new ban on abortion after 6 weeks of pregnancy. That is before most people know they are pregnant. That law is currently tied up in court battles, by the way, but that didn't stop DeSantis from applauding himself for a draconian job well done. Mike Pence took things a step farther at that Washington event today. He called on every Republican presidential candidate to make this pledge.
I want to say from my heart, every Republican candidate for president should support a ban on abortion before 15 weeks as a minimum nationwide standard.
The former Vice President of the United States wants all competitors for the Republican nomination to promise to make it so that no one in this country, whether you are in a blue state like New York or California or a state as crimson red as Texas, no one would be able to get an abortion after 15 weeks of pregnancy at a minimum. That's where we stand, 1 year after Dobbs, with new medical horror stories emerging every day as Republican politicians threaten to make things worse. Today, after signing an executive order expanding access to birth control, President Biden reiterated his commitment to veto any 15-week abortion ban that Congress might pass in the future. He repeated that commitment during a White House event to mark the grim anniversary of the Dobbs decision. First Lady Jill Biden, First Gentleman Doug Emhoff, former Speaker of the House Nancy Pelosi, Vice President Kamala Harris, and President Biden all addressed a crowd of reproductive rights organizers and advocates, and they promised to fight.
Is a price to pay for insulting women, for disrespecting women and their right to their health care. And there's a price to pay. And I don't say that as a threat. I say it as a prediction.
As politicians and voters continue to fight to restore abortion rights, we're going to take a look at what some other lawmakers are doing to try to improve maternal health. We'll continue that conversation on the other side.
Stairs or something easy.
For the life you're making, Etsy has it. Connections. For over 200 years, they've been the city's business. From connecting oceans and continents by helping finance the Panama Canal, to today, we're still making our most important connections, people. We connect security and innovation, all to help drive growth. Our global scale connects businesses to over 160 markets, and today's ideas with tomorrow's opportunities. For the love of moving businesses forward, for the love of progress, City.
That's where I left my hit plot.
Lenny, the hip plus was delicious.
Packed with vitamins, Hit Plus has more vitamin C than a real clementine.
New Hit Plus, true fruit flavor plus a boost of vitamins.
Did he just call vitamins vitamins?
New Hit Plus, fruit-infused water plus an immunity boost from vitamin C, A, B12 and zinc. Immunity boosting? Whoa! That is good, right? Hit Plus, true fruit flavor plus a boost of vitamins.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I was diagnosed with AFib. The first inkling that something was wrong was I started to notice that I couldn't do things without losing my breath. I couldn't make it to the airport. Every 20 or 30 yards, I just sit down and get my breath. Every physical exertion seemed to exhaust me. And finally, I went to the hospital where I was diagnosed with AFib. When I first noticed symptoms, which kept coming and going, I should have gone to the doctor and told him what was happening. Instead, I tried to let it pass. If you experience irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness, you should talk to your doctor. AFib increases the risk of stroke about 5 times. I want my experience to help others understand the symptoms of atrial fibrillation. When it comes to your health, this is no time to wait.
My A1C was up here. Now it's down with Rebelsis. His A1C?
It's down with Rebelsis.
Heard it from
My doctor told me Rebelsis lowered A1C better than a leading brand.
And then people taking Rebelsis lost more weight.
That's it. And again, back where I was there a second ago. Thoroughly good. Why is he always pain in the ass? So mad right now because I like of her. I don't know where she is. Oh, I ran right into that one. I think it's like a yellow game over instead of the red game over. It's getting close to this. I mean, the bone or
Me, I am waiting, waiting, waiting for.
that's the last one. Up here. Warp up. Right back. Lucy! Hello, hello. Hi. Wow, beautiful woman. I love. Lucy, I love. Become America, make baby with me. Make family. I'm almost at the end of Zelda. Don't you want a man that can complete Zelda? Betty! Betty, come here. Come on. Oh, she wants food. One thing on her mind, and let's eat it. Betches, you don't want to love me? I went too quick, though. Ready? Am I ready? Damn. Hello. Oh. Uh-oh. Good. Oh, there, actually. You know, the easiest way to do it is this way. Yes. Bam. Like that. And get a treasure for it. 26. Rid of this one. My last pot. Well, cold as ice. Dude, I don't have anything to cook, man. Oh. Wait. Egg, milk, oil, salt, honey. Okay, energizing omelet. Yeah. Big skyward sword, you gotta go. Take Zelda.
At last. I have been waiting for you to arrive. Now, Link, there is something here I want to show you.
My boobies? Oh, how it used to look. It's gorgeous.
Hyrule Castle. Perfect.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Waking memory. Memory of our time here. We're really taking every detail. After all, this place. Will be the majesty.
That Ganondorf?
Who has persisted in slaughtering my servants. Interesting. How is it that you survived my attack? It must have been that you ransomed. No matter. You will not live to see the swords. Did my puppet entertain you? She made it so easy to mislead you, to keep you up. Such an indirect approach is not maintenance. And this hero's life, my dark soul, got you down.
Well, the lightning damaged him. One. Two, and then I missed. Whoa. What way?
At last.
I do this every
waiting for
time.
you to arrive.
Come on.
Now, look. There is something here I want to show you.
Are you kidding me?
What do you think? Hyrule Castle, perfect and glorious. Does it awaken memories? Memories of our time?
Might me awaken memories from 2
We're
seconds ago.
really taking every detail.
And I reckon memories of when she's literally running away from me. Like, she literally just ran away from me. But I expected him to get stunned and he didn't. I think I need to warp into the town and make some potions. Hi, Leroy.
At last. I have been waiting for you to arrive. Now,
It's 3, there's one. Doing? I went here 3 times. I'm so mad, dude. I just ran through 3 times, and each time 0. I just get mad when it doesn't work, man. When she like runs away from me. In the programming stuff. She gets to act like I run over to her and then she takes 3 steps towards the enemy and like runs away from me.
At last. I have been waiting for you to arrive. Now, Link.
Ooh. All right. Well, new plan. Number one, climb up anywhere. What should I attach?
At last. I have been waiting for you to arrive. Now, Link. There is something here I want to show you.
Yeah. I think that's what I should do, man. If you can hit them 3 times with the diamond blade, quick. That's what you try. That's what I'm gonna try to do.
At last. I have been waiting for you to arrive. Now, Link. There is something here I want to show you. What do you think? Hyrule Castle.
I took one of them out. If I was spinning, I could take two of them out. It's a matter of having a bunch of pots, dude. Go to the town and
At last. I have been waiting for you to arrive. At last. I have been waiting for you to arrive. Now, Link, there is something here I want to show you.
yeah, this is ridiculous. About the green chew, don't you fit? All right, well, this is ridiculous that you don't have that you're at the boss and you don't have a pot. Listen. So Like not having any potions and having to eat ice crystals. Pretty much at the end, I think. Um, and good. I'm sick of running out of these. Good, I could quit having to throw them away. Uh, Yeah. Oh. Ah. Okay, they want me to go to Kakura Village. I haven't been there yet. To go defeat Ganon, though. Wait. Let me go see, man. I want to see if this is endgame or not, man. Oh. 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 So, I don't think I have 4. No. Damn. Take a heart. Yeah. Hey, Stony Giggy. Hey. Thanks for coming and playing a little Zelda action. I'm near the end of the game, actually. Hey, hey, hey. Cheers, have the smoking with you. Oh my god. Alright, well, I'm gonna go to a different spot here. West Castle Town. What's over there? East Castle Town. I don't think there's anything there. Go over here. I'm gonna go take a nap at the stable. and try to buy some more potions. See if I could get some better food. More heart.
In the glow of the blood-stained moon shines upon the land. The endless forest.
It's hardly crap here, man. What over here? Can I go catch fish? It's simple as just going to buy potions like in most games. You have to like go cook fish and shit. Shop is down below.